Contact us to avail the combo offer of General Studies and Public Administration optional with 20% discount.
Yes, good morning everyone. Today we are going to have the Hindu analysis of 25th September 2021. But before starting lecture, let me congratulate all those successful students from UPSC CEC 2020. And it is very pleasing to know that out of top 25, 12 students were female candidate and 13 male candidates. So even in top 10, many girl candidates are there. So yes, that is good to know that, and this will act as a motivation to other female aspirants, those who are preparing for this examination, right? Yes. And the 2019 batch, the first 400 dreams batch, student got 200 and something rank, and that is a very positive result that we have got here, right? So yes, surely we are expecting next year from ranks from the 400 batch that is going on at present from Lukmaan IS also. Okay, so yes, let us continue our lecture here. Which are the important articles? Yes, these are the important articles. Not many articles relevant to our examination. Try to understand. Always focus on the quality of inputs from these newspapers rather than the quantity. When I say quantity, rather than reading number of articles or repetitive articles that may be there on the same issue. For example, today also there is one article talking about AUKUS multilateral group. Yesterday itself we discussed, before that also we discussed. Okay, so no new inputs are there. So why to waste almost 15 to 20 minutes reading that and the same things are there. Okay, so this is how we need to proceed for next 1.5 years. Okay, so those articles which are repetitive and not many things will be there, because in ED lectures there will be further in-depth analysis of all these articles, important issues. Okay, so try to understand in this lecture series, specifically the Hindu lecture series, we are going to have those articles which are new, at the same time which are important our examination. Okay, so yes, first of all on page number 6, these two new articles are there. One talks about global firms. When global firms or companies disengage, employment suffers. So from economy aspect, this is important. Recently there was decision of Ford company, automobile company, to exit from India. And because of that, how it is impacting automobile sector, how it will lead to unemployment. Basically it talks about dependence on FDI, foreign direct investment, for creating or augmenting domestic capital and further increasing employment. But the sustainability of such employment is not, we can say that, up to mark. We need to scrutinize that. Let us scrutinize that with the help of some data that is mentioned in this article and some examples along with this Ford. Citibank recently announced that the retail, let's say, banking sector or banking transaction services will be stopped from India or in India. Okay, or there was a previous example, we can say that the almost 10 years back or 8 years back, when Nokia production plant in Tamil Nadu, Asia's largest, we can say that mobile production plant, manufacturing plant, was closed, and because of that how it resulted into unemployment. Okay, so such examples we can take here and we can discuss from economy perspective. So this is new issue, right? Up till now we have not discussed this. Then yes, caste census has been in news and we have not discussed. There is editorial on page number 6, talks about complexities in caste census. At the same time it is also saying that having the caste census activity is not impossible also. Though the government or the central government in Supreme Court recently said that it is involving many such administrative complexities in conducting this caste census. However, the article in second part also says that it is not also impossible. We can hold that caste census when we are having the ultimate objective of the caste census as equity. When we say equity, that means whatever the, let's say, positive discrimination initiatives or affirmative actions towards empowering the backward communities or SC, STs, OBCs, like for example reservation. So when the focus of such census is protecting these affirmative actions, then that is fine. But when it is based on the political aspect, it should not be done. Okay, so in this manner we will try to understand from GS2 paper polity and social justice. Then specifically for prelims examination as well as mains examination, we can say center notifies medical device parks scheme. So there are different types of parks. When we say that IT park, or we can say food parks, food processing industries, like mega food park scheme was there. So in the same manner, the government has come up with the proposal of establishing such medical device parks in different parts of India, in different states of India, and for that purpose it is providing some incentives in terms of credit, initial credit we can say that, or support, right? So when we say park, that means many of such industries will be set up in the nearby area, a particular area dedicated for that purpose only. So here we are talking about medical devices. Now this is very important in the backdrop of pandemic that is going on, and we can say that we largely dependent on imports of these medical devices. That was problem, and we realized that during the pandemic, when such imports of devices, especially from China, was not possible. And that's why we are trying to promote that let's say domestic manufacturing of these devices. Then there is article on page number 11 which says about China's central bank rules all crypto transactions to be illegal. Okay, you need to be aware about the regulation of cryptocurrencies, virtual currencies in different parts of the world, and China has completely banned already, but now it has declared illegal also all these transactions. Okay, so we'll try to know about this, what was the intention behind the Chinese central bank in declaring this illegal, and some basics about cryptocurrencies. Already UPSC has asked the question in prelims examination 2018, even this year 2020, there was question about blockchain technology. There was one statement about cryptocurrencies. So UPSC is nudging that part. That means it will surely ask tomorrow in mains examination. In GS3 paper, there can be question in mains examination also. So you should be aware about basics of cryptocurrencies. We'll look into all these aspects. And finally, practice prelims MCQs. Okay, so yes, our Prime Minister met US President. There is no substantial, let's say, outcome in that meeting per se, we can say. Tomorrow we will come to know what further decisions have been taken between two leaders. Then there is Quad meeting going on, right? And at the same time, our Prime Minister will address UNGA also in coming 2 days. So we will try to know about that in the coming lectures. Okay, yes. So first article on page number 6, when global firms disengage, employment suffers. Now, let us understand the context here. The context, it is talking about, let's say, impact of FDI on employment. Now we all know that there are 4 important drivers of economy. Which are 4 important drivers of economy? First, public expenditure. You should know about this. This is basics. Second, we can say private consumption. Third, we can say private investment. And fourth, exports. These are 4 drivers of economy. Now we know that in last 2 years Indian economy is facing downturn, and the government is trying to explore all these 4 drivers. But there are some problems in 2 drivers, which are private investment. Okay, so private investment in Indian economy, to some extent domestic private investment. So there is some kind of hesitancy in that investment. Because lack of demand. Because lack of demand. How demand is boosted? Two important drivers for that. Private consumption, that is the individuals, people, when they consume more articles, means they will be buying more consumable articles, that creates demand. But when they will be buying, when they have disposable income with them and a positive sentiment for that. For example, the festival season is coming, so people will try to buy car or TV, or let's say all those consumable goods are there, and for that we can say they need to have some kind of disposable income. Now the government through public expenditure try to boost such extra income. How it will happen? For example, let's say be it revenue expenditure, increasing government salaries, allowances, directly available money with the government servants, they will try to consume that. The second aspect is investment in infrastructure. Investment in infrastructure, right? And ultimately it will have spillover effect in the other sectors of the economy. And because of that, there will be more employment generation, there will be hike in the wages of the people, and then disposable income is available. In this manner, the demand is boosted, and because of that, what will happen? There will be private investment also. But at present, there are some limitations to all of this, and the government has shifted already to boosting exports also. Previously, we discussed one such article, the exports of different, let's say, we talked about food processing industry, right, at that time. So in the same manner, here we are talking about private investment in terms of, let's say, foreign investment. Investment in the economy is a very important aspect to augment the domestic capital. Okay, and in terms of that, foreign direct investment, there are two important types of foreign investment: foreign direct investment and foreign institutional investment, FIIs. But FIIs are volatile in nature, and generally they only seeks about the short-term profits. Whenever the situation worsens, immediately they take out their investment from that economy. Okay, but direct investment, FDI, that is long-term investment and leads to capital formation. This is basics. You will learn this in your foundation batch economy part. Okay, so this foreign investment is key to output and employment growth. And the present government from time to time is focusing on increasing such FDI in India. How? From, let's say, ease of doing business. It has tried to simplify the rules and regulations. We all are aware about that. Recently we talked about ease of doing business, how it improved from 142 rank to 63 rank recently in previous 5 years, right? So this happened because of simplification of rules and regulations in terms of starting a business, running a business. And because of that, the foreign investment increased. At the same time, in many sectors like insurance sector, defense sector, health sector, the FDI limits have been increased. And because of that, we have more and more FDI. The government is trying to focus on such foreign direct investment in our economy to promote capital formation and in turn employment generation. Okay. So the article itself is providing some data regarding the present status. Like for example, this institute provides for employment survey, unemployment survey. So yes, this is Center for Monitoring Employment, okay, something like that. So it talks about, let's say, monthly data is given about unemployment. It says that in July month there was 7% of unemployment, and this has increased in August to 8.3%. So unemployment is increasing. Unemployment is increasing. At the same time, we should understand that whatever the unemployment that has been seen in the recent months, that is from agriculture sector. Okay, so yes, we know that from agriculture sector, the manpower is shifting continuously. Okay, so there has been, we can say that unproductive employment in the agriculture, and because of that the extra manpower is shifting to other sectors of economy, but that should be consumed by the manufacturing sector, but this is not happening. Why we are saying that that should be consumed by manufacturing sector? Because manufacturing sector requires skilled workforce. It will help to boost the productivity, but that is not happening. Where this manpower is getting consumed? In low productivity service sector. It is getting consumed in low productivity service sector, and that's why it is not contributing to the economy. At the same time, such low productive service sector is very much vulnerable to the economic shocks. Whenever such kind of pandemic hits, then which sector is affected? Such kind of, let's say, unsecured, where the social safety nets are not there. So unemployment happens in that sector. Okay, so that's why the article says that yes, much of the labor shed by agriculture has been absorbed in low-end service sector. The article says that whenever such kind of large firms, like for example, it is saying that recently the Ford company decided to leave India. Okay, so because of that, what impact is going to happen? So yes, FDI, India is resorting to FDI to augment domestic capital formation. However, sustainability of increased employment because of this FDI is often threatened. There are different case studies that are mentioned here. For example, Nokia. It was at once, you know, everyone had this mobile of Nokia. Do you remember 10 years ago? Right. So this brought some kind of cellular revolution in India. Right. And later on, what happened? Because of certain decisions by this company in its home country. This is multinational company. And because of certain decisions that have been taken by this company in its home country, they decided to stop its manufacturing plant in India. And because of that, huge unemployment happened in Tamil Nadu. There was Asia's largest manufacturing plant in Tamil Nadu. So that example you can take recent examples of Ford in automobile sector and Citibank. Okay, so both have decided to stop its functioning in India, and because of that the unemployment will happen. But try to understand how it will affect, let's say, how does the exit of high profile global firms affect employment generation? It affects in different manner. First thing we can say that it creates a negative sentiments among the global players, other global players, to invest in that economy without reason. Okay, that is its own decision of the company. Despite of good economic growth, availability of skilled workforce, other companies will not invest in India. Okay, they will be more skeptical. They will be more skeptical to take such decision of investing in India. Second aspect, we should understand the skilled workforce that was working in this company, now it will be left to apply for other companies. So it will result into disruption of workforce, we can say. Disruption of workforce. Okay, so it will result into some kind of more supply and less demand in the employment. Okay, so this is problematic, and because of that, what will happen? The wages will fall down. When the more options are available, the company will select that person which is having, or let's say, low wage requirement. Right? So this is affecting the wages of this workforce also. So ultimately what we can say that as a conclusion from this aspect, we should simultaneously focus on domestic investment, be it private sector or public sector. Okay, so incentivize domestic private sector to invest in the economy. That we can do. Second thing we should understand is that again we can say that upskilling, reskilling. Our Prime Minister has been continuously focusing on this in last 1 year. Skilling, upskilling, reskilling, because of the new technology that has been coming in the economy, and because of that there may be loss of jobs, and that's why that workforce needs to reskill for the new kind of, let's say, demand of skill for these technologies, right? So this thing should be also done, and along with that the human resource should be developed accordingly. Third thing we can say that the other drivers of economy, they can be helpful in further capital creation. Exports is there. At the same time, when we talk about the public expenditure, this is very important, and you can mention the national pipeline project is there. Then national infrastructure pipeline, we can say NIP. Recently the government announced national asset monetization plan is there, right? So that asset monetization pipeline, that project is also important. Basically it will help in promoting public expenditure in the infrastructure. Ultimately we have to boost the economy so as to create the employment. Ultimately what is the target here? We have to boost the economic growth so as to further create the new employment. Okay, in this manner we should understand this discussion. Yes, so simply on the basis of this discussion, FDI as a tool to augment domestic capital formation may be useful for economy, but not for sustainable employment. Discuss with suitable examples. So which examples? You give these examples. Okay, how it is useful for economy? Surely it is investment in economy, and it is ultimately helping the economic growth. But for employment it may not be suitable because it is vulnerable to the global, we can say, such decisions taken by the companies. Okay, and it will affect the employment. Again I will repeat, FDI as a tool to augment domestic capital formation may be useful for economy, but not for sustainable employment. Discuss with suitable examples. Yes, may be suitable for economy, but not for sustainable development. Fine. Any question? Yes.
For stabilization of job holders, is there any chance? Example, any one of the education institution, example engineering college has been, so management is unable to run, but the college employee will not lose the job at any time. But the engineering college will say by under management. At the same process, is there any industrial area from the Ministry of Industrial? Is there company is ready to collapse that management, but the same infrastructure and everything, is there any chance to shift to another management to avoid the job losses of the job holders?
See, management change means the company stakeholdership should be acquired by other company. There should be investment in that company. There should be some kind of merger and acquisition. Okay, and if it is not profitable for other company, then it will not do that. Okay, surely when we say that any company is exiting from India, that means it is not taking that infrastructure that it has created with it. Surely it will try to sell it off to other companies if they are interested. Of course, right? So if it is interested, then the other company will buy it, invest in that. Otherwise, okay, it will be sold as a scrap. Okay, fine. Yes. Next article, complex count. Yes, it is talking about the caste census. Many state governments has come up with this demand. Are you aware about this? UP government recently said that there should be caste census, or some of the northern states. Okay, so that's why it has been in news. Let us understand what are the issues involved in that caste census. Okay, so first thing you should understand that caste census is useful to establish statistical justification for preserving caste based affirmative action program. Okay, we all know that Supreme Court from time to time, while hearing such cases related to reservation, has said that there should be some kind of quantifiable data for the justification of providing that reservation. For example, recently Maratha reservation in Maharashtra, there was case and that was struck down by Supreme Court in the name of justiciable, or this quantifiable data is not available. Okay, so we should be aware that whenever such caste census is being carried out, the ultimate motive should be this one. So we can talk about this as part of social justice, objective of our constitution. So we know that such reservations are given under Article 15, Article 16 of Indian Constitution. In terms of educational institutions, Article 15, and in terms of public employment, Article 16. Okay, there are different clauses mentioned in that, and this is done through first Constitutional Amendment Act, reservation provisions, affirmative actions. Okay, now we all know that this quantifiable data is required, and from time to time such caste census have been carried out. We know about socio-economic caste census 2011. Okay, but the government is not using this socio-economic caste census data so as to, let's say, as the basis for devising any policy or government scheme regarding this affirmative action. Why? Because the central government says that there are some discrepancies. Okay, so basically recently Supreme Court asked the, let's say, justification from the union government regarding whether the caste census can be carried out or not, and the union government has said that there are, let's say, administrative difficulties and the process is cumbersome. Two important aspects we should understand on behalf of union government in this aspect. One thing is that it says that caste as a, let's say, part of normal routine census. We know that there is a decadal census carried out, so it is very difficult to include caste as a part of that decadal census, because it will make the census process redundant. Okay, so bringing caste aspect will affect the decadal caste census. And second thing is that we know there are many caste, subcaste in different states, and that's why it becomes cumbersome process, and there are always chances of, we can say, omission, and we can say we can also say that many people will not be included in a particular caste. Okay, so there will be many errors, inclusion exclusion errors, we can say. Okay, and because of that it will not be a perfect caste census. Second aspect we should understand is government has said data from 2011 census was not acted upon because of several infirmities that rendered them unusable. There were many problems. There was this caste census, socio-economic caste census held simultaneously, not same, simultaneously of decadal caste census. Okay, simultaneously means there were two forms actually. This was one for civil census that we carry out for basic information, decadal census, and about the caste census also. So many infirmities were there, and therefore it is not used. However, the article says that it is not impossible to carry out such caste census. Who says that caste should be the part of that decadal caste census? It can be independent activity. It can be independent activity of decadal caste census. Such independent activity can be carried out first. There should be, let's say, data on different castes at district level and state level. First of all, decide which caste population lives in particular district and state. That can be decided on the basis of previous data. These castes are there, these castes are there. So population composition of different castes can be known, not numbers we are saying. And after that, what we can take is a local level census on the basis of that data. Okay, so in this manner, what we can do is, first of all, prepare such list of different castes and their population at district level and state level, and then local level empirical data collection can be done. Okay, in this manner, there will be some kind of, if there is any mismatch, then it can be corrected. Okay, so this is actually a difficult task or cumbersome task, but it can be done. Okay, suppose it is asked in the examination, in mains examination, or if it is asked in interview also, suppose. So you should not be say that it should not be carried out. Okay, or whether it is possible or not. You should not say that it is impossible. Okay, it is possible, but we need to make it more correct, let's say, activity. Okay, so basically here what we require is more transparent collection of data, and whatever the records are there with the government already, so they should be matched with the new data. So in that manner, exclusion, inclusion errors, whatever the mismatch is there, that can be removed. So yes, just one idea it is mentioned, and you can come up with your own idea also. That is appreciated in the interview actually. Okay, in interview, suppose such things are asked, like for example, a beneficiary scheme or welfare scheme is being implemented in a district, and you are asked to prepare the list of the beneficiary. How will you eliminate the inclusion and exclusion error in that beneficiary list? This is your task. Okay, as a district collector, as a part of administration, it is your task. So you can implement different kind of methods there, where you can tally on the ground. So people can be asked to come forward and tell their own caste, provide some certification in justification of that. Suppose your name is not there in that list, suppose the other caste is mentioned in that list. Okay, so basically this is two-way process. It should not be one-way process that the government is deciding whether what is your caste or not. Okay, in this manner it can be done. So ultimately we can say that it is tedious, cumbersome, but it is not impossible. Okay, yes.
So before 20 years, we have the correct data regarding the caste, but in every mandal office they have each and every person caste has been registered, as per the municipal records and MRO records. But deliberately the government employees are displaying in normal times. They will display only the election before, 1 week only they will tell everything before the election only.
Yes.
In particular ward, particular caste people having the number of census, even the number of voting also they will tell.
In India, it has a very much important, let's say, relevance to all those political agendas and political manifestos, vote bank politics related to caste, right? So it is very sensitive matter actually in terms of politics, right? So if it is done with the constitutional objective of ensuring equity, okay, or we can say distribution of the opportunities on the basis of equity, then we can say that this is good activity. Otherwise, if it is done on the basis of political interest, some kind of vested interest, then it is not good activity.
Main thing only one is the drawback, sir. One of the state has been particular caste they will give every recognition on state cadre, sir. But the same caste is not going to be matching the in central government, sir. They will come as under OC category, sir. That is the main drawback of the census calculation. In AP, we have the reservation, but the same caste not reservation in central government, sir. That is the mismatching of, that is the major drawback of.
Yes. Many of the, let's say, subcaste categorization done at the state level and the reservation accordingly is given. For example, in Maharashtra, there are different, let's say, categorization, VJ, NT1, NT2, NT3 or ABC, like that. And all of these are clubbed at the central level under OBC. Okay, so basically, and there is OBC separately at state level. So this creates some kind of confusion. Okay, but again, let me tell you that already UP is going to have assembly elections next year, and because of that some kind of, let's say, pressure is being created. It is to some extent vote bank politics. Otherwise, suddenly who will, let's say, who are asking such kind of things? So there is no some constitutional basis for that demand. Okay, fine. Now moving on to next. Center notifies medical device park scheme. Okay, so medical devices in India, largely the production is limited and import of these medical devices happens. During last 1.5 years, because of pandemic and restriction on imports, it has resulted into mismatch of demand and supply. Demand is more because of medical situation and supply is less, and that's why the government felt need that there should be some kind of boost to domestic manufacturing of these medical devices. It will help to strengthen our health infrastructure also. Okay, so it has come up with new scheme to promote medical devices park at the financial outlay of 400 crore rupees till financial year so 2024-25. अब दिया है भी तो इतना सा दिया है. Okay, 400 crore is very less amount. Okay, so we will understand that the scheme aims to ensure easy access to testing and infrastructure facility. It is expected that this will bring down the cost of production of medical devices, thereby making them more affordable for domestic consumption. Okay, so the financial assistance for selected medical device park will be 90% of the project in hilly states and northeastern states. Okay, northeastern states and hilly state 90%, and in all other states 70%. At the same time, there is maximum cap is mentioned. Maximum assistance under the scheme for one park will be 100 crore rupees. Maximum will be 100 crore. So total is only 400. So that means suppose one park is taking 100 crore rupees, then only 4 parks can be established in next 4 years. Are you getting this? So basically more financial outlay is required. More financial outlay is required. Yes.
When we so practically medical equipment also is not able to purchase that type of amount, 100 crores. It will yearly only the equipment will go to more than 100 crores. May take for.
Yes, surely. Yes, already the cost is very high. At the same time, we should understand that unless and until we do not provide the government support here, what happens is already in terms of pharmaceutical drug production, we have achieved a competitive advantage at world stage. We are exporter of drugs. However, in terms of medical devices, we have not strengthened our capacity in that let's say level, comparative level, and that's why we need to focus on that aspect. Okay, one more aspect, let me tell you that medical devices, especially the geriatric care in old age care. Okay, we are expecting questions such already UPSC asked in GS1 paper, society part. So we are expecting in GS2 paper, health sector also. We are expecting essay topic also in terms of old age care. We have witnessed during the first lockdown period how old age people were more vulnerable to this COVID-19, and because of that many problems were faced. because of comorbidities that they have. So yes, medical devices are very much required for specifically for them also. Okay, so yes, the Indian population is going to age further. In near future, old age population will grow, and because of that it is also required. Yes, China's central bank rules all crypto transactions to be illegal. Just you should be aware that the regulation in different countries, as a reference, whenever the question is asked in mains examination, when we talk about whether cryptocurrencies should be regulated in the country or not, you should be giving the reference to other countries also, like China. So in China it is banned. You can mention that in your answer directly. So yes, in India also you should be aware that already RBI had issued regulations that it is not allowed, but later on Supreme Court had stayed that regulation, okay, about the cryptocurrencies, and now the RBI is further devising its own virtual or digital currency now. In future we can expect that some kind of specific regulations will be there on virtual currency, but at present it is allowed. Are you aware about that? Many such ads are coming nowadays about Bitcoin. Okay, switch Kuber. Okay, are you watching these ads? Basically, so cryptocurrency is transactions allowed in India at present. There is no specific regulation about it now. Okay, so in future we are expecting UPSC in mains examination, very futuristic. आगे क्या होने वाला है उसका क्वेश्चन पहले ही पूछते हैं. Okay, so you should be prepared for mains examination about this regulation of cryptocurrencies. At the same time, why China has taken this decision? Because this crypto crackdown also opens the gates for China to introduce its own digital currency that China is already planning for. Recently, RBI has come up with that idea. We discussed that in current affairs, even in ED lectures. Okay, so central bank digital currency, CBDC. So RBI is coming up with that proposal now, and we have analyzed that already. So China has been working on that idea, and banning all other virtual currencies will help to introduce its own central bank issued virtual currency. Okay, so already we know that China is centralized in terms of administration, government, and now economy also. So there will not be such kind of thing in India. There will be some kind of competition among the virtual currencies in future. Okay, so these other virtual currencies along with RBI's virtual currency, that will be in competition, we can expect that. Okay, but basics about cryptocurrencies. First of all, let me tell you what kind of question was asked, then we will discuss this. In 2020 examination, this year prelims examination, what was this question? With reference to blockchain technology, consider the following statements. Okay, so blockchain technology, which is largely used in this cryptocurrencies transaction, about that, it is public ledger that everyone can inspect, but which no single user control. Okay, first statement, the structure and design of the blockchain is such that all data in it are about cryptocurrency only. The applications that depend on basic features of the blockchain can be developed without anybody's permission. We have to find the correct statement. Okay, so it is making problem for you, right? Yes, 1 and 3. Yes, correct. So yeah, there is some kind of logic also. Okay, so only is written in the statement, right? So that's because of that also many times it is being said that it is incorrect statement. But yes, that logic can be used, but we should be knowing about the blockchain technology and cryptocurrencies in general also. So let us understand basics first, and we'll try to attempt that later. Okay, so cryptocurrencies are actually form of virtual currency. When we say virtual currency, that means there is no physical hard currency, rather the transactions happening in a digital manner. Okay, Another important feature, or we can say salient feature of the cryptocurrencies, is that the transaction happen between two parties and there is no intermediary involved in that. When we say intermediary in terms of economy, that means there is third party, bank, or let's say credit card company, or other financial company is there. Okay, so that intermediates. Generally what happens when we transact, we send money from our one account to other account. This is done through bank. The bank is intermediary. Bank charges fees for that transaction. At the same time, that bank is having data about both of us. So that means there is some kind of, let's say, third party involvement. But the salient feature of cryptocurrency is that there will not be involvement of third party in that transaction. Okay, so yes, these are actually the characteristics. One more characteristic you should understand here is there will be decentralized controlled. In general, what we observe in our monetary economics, there is centralized control. RBI controls, banks control. Okay, but here in this type of currency transaction, there is decentralized currency. Let's say control, or we can say all these transactions are certified by each and every individual in that blockchain, the chain that is created here, right? So whenever the new transaction is requested, all participants in that chain are supposed to provide the approval. This is called as decentralized ledger system, and this helps in some kind of, we can say, distributed accountability. Not one entity is not accountable here, and this helps to provide the secure channel, much more secure channel for those transactions. Okay, so these are actually the advantage. Safety is there in terms of transactions, and data related transaction is also there. Along with that, we should understand it is less costly because third party is not involved, so charges are not there. Almost it is free of charge, almost. Processing fee is very less. At the same time, we should understand that whatever the process is going on, disadvantages should be also considered. What are these disadvantages? In terms of disadvantages, first thing is that there are, let's say, chances of money laundering, or we can say terror financing, tax evasion. All these things can be done because the government is not at all aware about this. Government is not at all aware about these transactions. This is kind of parallel economy going on, right? And this is the major concern about this, right? The second concern is that, yes, not many people know about this, so lack of awareness about this technology. How does it work? So those who know about this can exploit the unaware person. They can exploit unaware person. Knowledge is power. Awareness is power here, and yes, we all know about these things, right? So these are actually disadvantages. In terms of types, basically you should be aware, we know that in 2009 when Bitcoin was launched, this is the earliest cryptocurrency on the basis of this blockchain technology, and then later on many such other, let's say, virtual currencies on the basis of cryptocurrencies were developed, right? So there can be question in mains examination regarding this, but at present there is no specific regulation of cryptocurrencies in India, and RBI is working on that aspect. At the same time, RBI is trying to come up with its own digital currency. Okay, this much information is sufficient, I guess. What could be answer to this question then?
The space on security is not carrying on cryptocurrency.
C.
B, sir, B.
B. No third party involved in transaction. we are talking about incorrect or not the characteristic of cryptocurrency.
State on century is not a character now.
It is characteristics. Just now we talked about this. Okay. So when we say that characteristics, we are talking about the features, salient features of this as compared to other type of transaction system, payment system. Okay, so the incorrect statement is C here regarding that centralized ledger system. Rather, it is decentralized ledger system with the help of blockchain technology. Right? Yes.
When you are saying China is implementing its own cryptocurrency, then that will be centralized itself. They will keep on seeing what is going on. Then how will it be centralized?
Try to understand. Digital currency or virtual currency, there can be different types of digital and virtual currencies on the basis of different technologies. If you are using blockchain technology specifically, then it is decentralized ledger. Blockchain technology works on that. Try to understand first this. Like Bitcoin is there on the basis of blockchain. So almost all majority virtual currencies or these cryptocurrencies, they are working on the blockchain technology. That's why we are saying that. But there can be centralized. There can be centralized virtual currency. If suppose RBI is issuing its own digital currency, that is virtual currency, right? But it is not called as cryptocurrency. It is not called as cryptocurrency. Crypto means there will be some kind of encryption. Word crypto is used from the encryption. Encryption means only two parties know about that information, and that information is encrypted. We know WhatsApp conversation, end-to-end encryption like that. Basically, the word has been derived from cryptocurrency. Is this clear? Okay, so all virtual currencies are not cryptocurrencies, or digital currencies are not cryptocurrency. Basically, when we transact between different two Paytm wallets, that is also virtual currency. Are we transacting in a physical manner? When I transact or transfer certain amount from one Paytm wallet, I am not saying account, wallet. Okay, so there we are transferring that amount in terms of, let's say, in a virtual currency manner. Okay, but here we are talking about, let's say, a parallel system involved here. There is no third party. In that, Paytm is involved. Paytm knows about that transaction. Right? So basically, blockchain technology, which is used largely for these cryptocurrencies, works on decentralized. Fine? Okay. Yes, any other question? Fine, then we'll meet on Monday directly. From 2 days current affairs we'll try to cover there. Okay? Thank you.
Contact us to avail the combo offer of General Studies and Public Administration optional with 20% discount.